Hey friends, today I want to talk about self-compassion and especially self-compassion when we're all facing such scary, anxious, uncertain times. I want to share a story as an example and then talk about the insights I learned from this experience. In the middle of March, so pretty early in the time of coronavirus for my community and for the US in general, I was in a pharmacy in line waiting to pick up a prescription. The line was super long. The air in the atmosphere in the store was extremely anxious. There was sort of a low hum of panic in everyone in the store. And no one was observing social distancing. It was very, very early in the process. And I'd been waiting in line for a long time. I was full of anxiety and sort of barely restrained panic. And an elderly couple came into the room, saw the length of the line, and they immediately started arguing. One of them saying, "We need to leave, we can't stay." The other saying, "We need to pick up our prescription." I was at the front of the line, and it wasn't until people behind me started offering for this couple to go ahead of them that it occurred to me that I could do the same and save them a huge amount of anxiety and worry. I felt so embarrassed and ashamed of myself that it hadn't occurred to me until the people behind me were doing so that I could help these folks. I think of kindness as one of my core values and one of the sort of waypoints by which I try to live, and it felt horrible and humiliating and shameful to find myself behaving in a way that was so out of alignment with my values and the person that I want to be in the world. So I invited the couple to go ahead of me. They did. I picked up the prescription I was waiting for, and all was well. But I continue to look back at that moment as a moment that I don't feel proud of and that I do feel ashamed of. And it was a valuable experience to have, especially at that point in time, because it showed me something that I intellectually know to be true, but emotionally have to learn again and again. And that is that none of us live up to our best selves in every moment. And in particular, times of uncertainty, times of anxiety, times of fear, and other limiting experiences, they draw in our boundaries in such a way that we stop being able to see the big picture. We stop being able to live up to our best selves or hold our experiences in the useful perspective that we would normally like to have. I have to recognize myself as a human who is going to make mistakes. And I recognize this time of difficulty as a time when I'm going to make more mistakes than I normally do, and different kinds of mistakes from the ones that I normally make. Mistakes that conflict with my core values and the person that I want to be. This is also useful for me because it helps me be gentle with the people around me when they aren't living up either to their own expectations of themselves or to my expectations of them. Something that I intellectually understand and know that when I encounter it emotionally, it still will be difficult, is the fact that we're all going to make a whole lot of mistakes in this time. This is all of our first pandemic. For most of us, it's the first time that we're really being called to make really substantial personal sacrifices for the greater good. The directions of best practices are extremely unclear, and so I think that there's a pretty broad range where reasonable people can land with their behavior and the choices that they're making, and it's hard to know what's best. So making a mistake early in the process and feeling the sort of hot shame of that experience was useful both in teaching me and showing me that I need to be gentle with myself around the times when I make mistakes or do things that I don't like and wish that I'd done differently. And it also helps me be gentle and supportive of the people around me when they do the same thing. I know we're all going to make a lot of mistakes, and we're going to make choices that we regret. I've already made choices that I regret, and I bet you have too. Things have changed so quickly, and we're in such uncharted territory that it's easy to, from where I sit now, look back 2 weeks and wonder what was driving me to make the choices I made then. And I imagine that in another 2 weeks, I'll look back at the choices I'm making now and have the same experience. Being able to be gentle and loving and supportive of ourselves and others, recognizing that we're all doing the best we can with the information that we have, and that we'll have new information that changes our perspective and our approach as time goes on, and not vilifying ourselves for the mistakes that we've made, while also holding open the possibility of doing better each day, is one of my core practices around self-compassion in this moment in particular, and in life in general. What's helping you be compassionate with yourself and with the people around you? Have you had experiences that you look back on and feel ashamed of? How are you dealing with that?